This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we take a trip back to the year 2000 as we review Mission Impossible 2. Plus, Marvel may have found a director for their X-Men movie, trailer reactions for Squid Game Season 3, The Old Guard 2, Peacemaker Season 2, the next Godzilla Kong movie has a title, thoughts on the latest episodes of Andor and The Last of Us, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, May 12th, 2025.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Why? I don't know.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's up, listener? How's it going? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, a fellow who's spinning, flipping, kicking, and it's not because he's in a John Woo movie. He's just really drunk. It's Rug Boy.
Call me Tom Boat.
Playing the role of Ethan Hunt's brother, Mike.
I'm Ethan Cunt.
It's Rug Boy.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, I was gonna say Tom Cruise, like a cruise ship.
Yes,
but I was
Tom
like
Boat.
I see.
Tom Tugboat. I don't know. I was trying to make a boat reference.
That's all right. It's a stretch. It was a nice effort.
No, it was bad.
No, that wasn't great. But
it was terrible.
Ethan Cunt was better.
That's better. Anthony, thanks for joining us live from your Twitch stream, by the way. What are you
Hell yeah, baby.
What are you playing? Anthony's playing Fortnite at the same time. No, I don't know. You just
I'm talking shit to 11-year-olds and doing this podcast,
Yes.
so it's great.
When you put a gaming headset on, you're instantly in a server of Call of Duty with 12-year-olds just fucking shooting yourself.
I apologize for not having my regular mic today.
You unprofessional motherfucker. It's fine. You sound lovely.
Sometimes you gotta use the tech that you have, and I decided to, take it back to the AOL days and use a headset. So
Sounds like I'm calling my credit card company in India. It's great. Anyways.
Did TransUnion give you an alert to talk to me about?
I got a fraud. Can I change my PIN? Never mind.
Hello, we've been alerted by TransUnion that you have a something on your credit. Do you want to talk to us about lowering it?
I do not want to refinance my credit card.
No.
Thank you very much.
You must have had an alert on your computer. Can you please share with me your 10-digit social security number, and we can fix that right away?
Yes, no problem.
Oh, thank you.
Along with your checking and your savings account number, please give me that routing number.
Is that the routing number or the tracking? Very good.
Yeah.
Your name is not Steve from Kansas. Wait a minute. Anyways, look, we're going to have a fun kind of retro action movie review in the second half, fellas. We got some trailers and some fun news to geek out about. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Let's talk about some MCU X-Men news. Some updates here, as all the big trades are reporting that Jake Schreier, hot off of directing Thunderbolts Asterisks, is in talks to direct their X-Men movie.
Oh, shit.
Oh, very interesting. Thunderbolts, second week, doing pretty good. Makes another $33 million. It's a drop of about 55%. I saw somewhere between 51 and 55.
I saw 55,
55?
but it'd be the lowest second week drop Marvel's had in quite a while.
That's not bad, and it's enough for it to open at number 1 again. So right now it's sitting at 128 million domestic, 271 worldwide. This thing needs to make at least $500 million for them, I think, to be satisfied. What's interesting, Sinners, number 2 still. And number 3, Minecraft, $900 million worldwide.
Sinners is just still doing very well.
Sinners, 216 million. 4 weekends out, opens at number 2. Anyways, let's talk about Jake Schreier. I got a couple of other X-Men related things, but let's just start here Anthony, look, he gave us a team movie. He's shown he can handle an ensemble pretty good in Thunderbolts and in some of his TV things. What do you think about if Jake Schreier gets the X-Men directing job?
When I saw it, I immediately went, love it. Great. That's
Right?
exactly, that sounds perfect. It sounds like he was in a backdoor way auditioning for
Oh, sure.
more things to do with Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think this movie, I've heard some good stuff about Beef and some of the other projects he's been involved in. And I think he does a good job with like some of these depressed characters.
Yeah.
And if there's anything about the X-Men, it's family, which he did. He was able to reel together with this.
Yep.
And also a lot of very conflicted characters. Let's just put it that way. A lot of characters that are dealing with a lot of different forms of trauma or abuse or
Yeah.
discrimination.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's great. I think I'd love to see him get that role. I think that'd be a great step up for him. Especially if I don't even know. I don't know if New Avengers Thunderbolts, is that a spoiler?
Yeah. Whatever. Everybody knows
Whatever.
that.
I don't know if they're going to make sequels to that.
Right.
So
Right.
if that's not the case, then the X-Men would be a great pivot. And I think after this next phase 6, it's very clear that Marvel's next big thing is the X-Men, and that'll probably be what the next saga revolves around. So
Yeah, Ruggs, do you think he's a good pick? Look, he's not an auteur, right? But in directors like the Russo brothers and Matt Shackman and Jake Schreier, they get TV guys who will also be company guys, right? They're going to toe the line. They're going to do what you want them to do. And he has handled an ensemble cast of characters well. Do you like this pick?
Well, I thought Thunderbolts was good, so maybe he could come off of that and do another film that is equally as good, hopefully, or better. Now, he's done a lot of TV,
Yes,
and I think he directed an episode of Dave.
he did. And he did an episode of Skeleton Crew, which is another like ensemble-y cast thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he seems to be in with Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco.
Oh, yeah, he's friends
Now,
with
do you remember the episode of Dave with Benny Blanco where
Yeah.
they're looking into each other's buttholes?
Yes, with the
See,
gum.
that's the kind
Yes.
of X-Men I want to see.
That's the X-Men.
Yeah,
Maybe he
that's
could-
the X-rated X-Men.
it's a triple X-Men.
Yeah, it's triple X-Men.
So,
But-
following that, that Wall Street Journal article we talked about last week, in that Kevin Feige also mentioned he has a 10-year plan for the X-Men. So, Anthony, like you said, this is a big next step for them. But do you see, does a 10-year plan mean he's going to do like solo movies leading up to it? Do you see him kind of doing that? Is that what the X-Men would need? Do you start with a team movie or do you do some individual movies?
I think for X-Men, you do it backwards. You do it the way you flip it on its head and you do an X-Men movie first, and then you do some
Then break it
spin-off
down.
stuff. Yeah.
That's not bad because then you can see kind of who audiences like, maybe.
Yeah.
And the only issue is, they tried with Eternals to introduce a team of like 10 new fucking characters at once. We saw how that played out, but this is the X-Men. It's a little different.
I think it's a little different. I mean, a lot different actually. Anyone that watches comic book films or consumes comic books knows who the X-Men are and knows a lot of the more popular characters' origins.
Ruggs, what about you? You want to see solo movies leading up to a team or the other way around, like Anthony said?
I don't know. I feel like we should start with a tight, small team.
Right.
Like the original
what team? Yeah, go ahead.
The original X-Men is Beast, Iceman,
Right.
Jean Grey, and Cyclops, and Angel.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what you got. You got to start with the 5, and then by the end of the movie, maybe they meet other mutants, and then they get incorporated into the. So maybe they meet like Rogue. Maybe they meet
Storm
Nightcrawler
and your Wolverines.
Yeah.
What was that comic called where they debuted the new X-Men? Was it called the new X-Men?
It was giant-sized X-Men.
Giant-sized
So
X-Men.
it was just like a giant-sized version of that, but that was the new team, and that was huge. But I like
that team was was Cyclops,
yes,
Wolverine, Rogue, Colossus, Was Angel in there?
Was
Angel?
I think so. Was Banshee in that one?
Giant. Let's just look it up.
You just have to look at the cover.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and who is this fucking other guy?
Oh, the Native American one.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I forgot what his name is.
Who was that guy? What was his name?
Nobody knows. That shows you how popular he was. Ruggs, do you know his name? Thunderheart something?
Oh, you asking for someone's name off the top of my head? I'm not going to be able to remember it.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Thunderheart.
Thunderheart, something like that.
It's Thunderhawk or something Hawk, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. No, but you start with the 5 and then switch it up or something.
I actually don't ever. If they started it with the giant size,
Thunderbird. Okay. Sorry,
I actually wouldn't have a problem if they started with the giant size X-Men.
Oh, with this team instead of the OG team. Well,
yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, all these Fox fuckers are coming back for Doomsday, but they're going to have to recast all these people. Also,
Oh, go ahead.
No, there was another article. Ryan Reynolds, in the meantime, is exploring a Deadpool X-Men team-up movie, and he's playing around with doing a movie with Deadpool and 3 or 4 other X-Men, just to have a pitch or something. I don't know. So we could be getting a Deadpool X-Men movie as well, based on his free time, of course. What were you going to say, Anthony?
Well, I have a question about the X-Men.
Yes.
Let's start with my question, and then I have a thing that's been on the internet that people are debating about the Thunderbolts end credit scene. So
okay.
Were you guys more, when it comes to team reading comic books, were you more into X-Men or Avengers?
Definitely X-Men. I didn't even really read the Avengers much, nor did I have any interest in it.
Oh, I love the X-Men when I was in my prime.
Yeah.
It was great. It was the greatest comic book to read. It was very much like a civil rights thing too. It was like we were growing up in the era of gangster rap, NWA, all these rappers that were kind of getting the message across about institutional racism and Malcolm X and all that stuff. And so it was in the zeitgeist at the time. So the whole like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, like dichotomy
was like Magneto and Charles Xavier.
Yeah. And so it was really kind of part of the 90s zeitgeist at the time, or 80s 90s zeitgeist. So it really hit on a different level than Avengers, which is just like fighting Doctor Doom most of the time.
I mean, it's funny to think about because I think I was first attracted to it because of characters like Wolverine. And then just like amazing family drama and storylines. And then it wasn't until later when I learned about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, that it all connected. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is just like comics, or the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, it had a big cast of characters. It had something for everybody.
Yeah.
It had a lot of variety. And there was always something to keep you interested. It never got stale because, like, you have Spider-Man kind of doing his own thing and it kind of rinse and repeat. He fights the Green Goblin 20 times, Right. This is like there's always something new, another character to focus on, another story that's within the characters. So it had it was almost soap opera-ish where they could kind of go around in different characters and they're different.
And it's crazy that they started with Avengers, of course, because they didn't have the rights, because there is so much cool shit in X-Men that I didn't even pay any attention to Avengers comics. And I thought they were boring compared to the cool, exciting things the X-Men were doing. So
it was just cooler all around.
Yes.
They were newer. They were fresher characters. Yeah. They were more violent. I like the violent stuff. I was like into because when I was a kid, I had read Dark Knight Returns and Daredevil.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, you got to beat the shit out of these bad guys. You can't just tie him up and leave a note like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man out there. Yeah. Like you got to take them down, especially if they're doing all kinds of crazy shit. Like the bad guys in the X-Men, they were terrible people. They were they wanted to wipe them out. So it was the stakes are very high in X-Men. So that really made it more edgy and more violent.
So it's exciting. The potential is there. How is he going to fully bring this shit into the MCU? I think is the trickiest part.
I don't know. I feel like there's too much people tied to nostalgia and we have these aging cast, and we have to pass the baton on to kind of like a newer cast and kind of do it like it's never been done before. Like do the costumes, do the whole pageantry, do the whole real deal X-Men like it was in the comics. Make it come to life. I think they need to do that.
What if after Secret Wars, instead of like rebooting everything right away, they just make like X-Men movies for a while to give the rest of the IP a little break? I don't know if that would make any sense, because not only got to continue making Fantastic Four and all these Avengers movies, you're adding X-Men. Something has got to give.
I don't know. It's weird because we already had the Singer X-Men movies.
Right.
And I thought that they did what they did at that time. And they had that like early 2000s sensibility.
Yeah.
It's 25 years ago,
Yeah.
30 years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But things have changed. Movie making has changed. Everything's different now. So I don't know. Like, what could this X-Men be? How great could it be? How big could it be compared to what we saw in the early 2000s?
Sure.
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be like an Omega level event.
It could absolutely be huge. Yes.
I mean, anything that happened in the X-Men is as big as what went on in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
it's just they've burned Dark Phoenix twice, right? So you got to come at it from another angle that makes everybody
plenty.
forget about-
There's
there is.
plenty. Yeah, there's
there
plenty.
is.
they got Genosha. They got the Brood.
You could do
they
Apocalypse
got-
better. Yeah, you got you got
You
Krakoa.
could do Mr. Sinister.
Right.
Yes. You could do Avengers versus X-Men. Like,
Right. Avengers versus X-Men would be like if all goes well and there's still juice in the fruit for this, then the Avengers versus X-Men would be like their next big
so
thing.
Feige clearly thinks MCU is still going to be a thing 10 years. If he's got a 10-year plan for X-Men, like this shit ain't going anywhere.
I think. I mean, just on that note, I don't know if it'll ever get as big as it did for Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. Like, I think there's just a lot of apathy towards Marvel, and a lot of people that have grown up with Marvel are now older and maybe have moved on. So I think, but I do think that Marvel can still, with some of this stuff, at least still claim a piece of the pie and not have people shitting on them after every movie.
Yeah, and maybe they're back on the track with.
Well, that's what
Thunderbolts.
what's his name, Iger.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was quoted as saying that Thunderbolts is like
The example.
the example of what they'll be doing moving forward.
Sure, Bob Iger. I mean, if it sucked, would you have said the same thing, Bob
No.
Iger? I don't know.
No.
But he's spinning it that way. Fantastic.
That's total spin.
What is your Thunderbolts question, Anthony? I'm curious.
Oh, I don't know. There's some debate online. People were reading into things, but they were saying that Fantastic Four tag at the end.
Yes, spoilers. I think I know it. Yes, I saw this. Go ahead.
They were saying in the clip that there's 4 spires.
Yeah.
And then in the clip in the movie, there's 3.
There's
so the
3 fins.
people are debating that it's not the Fantastic Four. It might be Doom
Could be
coming
Doom.
in.
Yep. Could be
Or
some-
someone even speculated that it's the OG Fantastic Four from the 2000s.
I saw that too, and I don't know if the 3 fins versus 4 fins. You gotta imagine it
I
doesn't.
think people are really reading. I think people are reading.
but
it
like,
for a
why
little
would
bit.
they spoil any part of the Fantastic Four movie? So I do feel like there could be a little misdirect on purpose. But yeah, I did see that. I don't know. We'll see. Well, it could be whatever. Maybe you couldn't see the fin. Did you see that, Ruggs? Does that make sense? What he said
I don't know anything about fins.
in the.
He didn't even see. He left. Remember?
He didn't see the post-credit scene. That's right. I forgot.
Oh shit.
He
Yeah,
left
and-
because that guy was crying on his shoulder. And
Yeah.
he was like, "I'm done with this."
Stop getting my shirt wet with your tears. Anyways, it's an exciting future as the MCU still has a Fantastic Four, that whole world, and we've still got a whole X-Men thing to explore. MCU, it's not going anywhere. Listener, let us know your thoughts. You can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. It is a closed, exclusive group just for you. We put spoiler threads in there. People post articles. Fun discussion. Join it today. Okay, moving on. I got a bunch of trailers and videos and things. The first set is for stuff coming to television this summer. that I think we'll all be a little bit excited for. The first one, Squid Game Season 3 official teaser released. Anthony, you get a look at this. Anything that caught your eye about what's to come?
I mean, it looks good. I have somewhat forgot what happened in season 2, so I'll need a quick recap of that. But I do know that the main guy has been caught.
Ji-Yun, yes, after being played by the frontman
Right.
who was in the game.
The thing I noticed is it seems like they put him back in the game.
Yep.
Which seems incredibly stupid.
They brought him back in a coffin, too, in the beginning of this thing, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. The game, the show is pretty good. I think it is a little dumb unless we see what the explanation is why they would let this guy who almost took down your game and put him back in the game.
He still doesn't know that was the front man, but yeah, this guy almost blew up your spot. Ruggs, what do you think? Season 3 now with more gumballs. Does that do anything for you? It's a giant gumball machine.
I like gumballs.
You like gumballs?
Well, that's how you lost those teeth.
Yeah.
Those are really big gumballs.
The gob stoppers really do stop your gob.
Yeah, they'll fuck you up if you're not careful.
Yeah, well, besides the giant balls, which I always
giant
like.
Colored balls.
Yeah, and especially if they're colored. My favorite thing about this is, I don't know, I mean, I just saw him being delivered in a coffin. Yeah. He's back in the game. I thought that really surprised me because I thought he was down and out. I assume that, like, maybe they drugged him or mind wiped him or did something, so he doesn't remember what just happened, or I don't know. I feel like they had just some shenanigans going on.
I mean, he murdered a lot of them. They murdered a bunch of the contestants. How can you even explain him going back?
You got to have something on him. Like, put him back in the game.
You see a brief shot of the cop brother who's still, like, searching for the front man's brother.
What about the baby?
Wait, there's a baby crying at the end, right?
Yeah, that girl, that pregnant lady is gonna give birth.
So she has the baby. There's a baby in the Squid Game. You see the dudes with the gold masks, the elites who are watching the game. We didn't see any of them in the last season, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think this show should probably end with this season, hopefully.
Sure. I mean, it was a good ride.
It was a good ride. And if it's the final, it's time. I mean, they left us. They only played half of the games. I need to see the rest of these gumball games. And just give me a nice conclusion.
Yes, I think that, look, we can't do the Squid Game forever. I mean, I don't even know how Survivor's still on this long. I mean, who's watching that? And Big Brother.
Of that show. Oh, Big Brother keeps going. Yeah.
I mean, I know that I've just pissed off a bunch of our audience. They all watch. I know that they all watch it, but I could not watch that again.
Big Brother still has huge fans, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, I no, not for me. But like, I'm afraid that they would try and do that, like have this run it forever, and then it just becomes not special anymore. I think. Let it be special. It is special. It's been good. It hasn't really dropped that far down in quality. I think it's a good idea to end it now and just go out with a bang. Like, fucking blow this thing wide open. And maybe you could have a Squid Game somewhere else.
Yeah.
In a different location, a different cast.
Yeah, David Fincher wants to do an American version. We'll see how that goes.
Call it something else.
Calamari games? No.
Calamari contest.
Call it Calamari contest. June 27th, we will get the final game, Squid Game Season 3. Moving on, July brings us a sequel to a Netflix original movie, The Old Guard 2.
Right.
July 2nd. Remember The Old Guard? Remember Charlize Theron?
Barely.
And Immortal Warriors.
It's Highlander.
I will say it was decent. I also, like you, Anthony, barely remember any of it. Now, Old Guard 2, now with more Uma Thurman. Does that move the needle? Adding Uma Thurman, the bride, going up against Charlize Theron's warrior. She's, I guess, the first immortal. I don't know. Ruds, let's start with you. What do you think of this Old Guard 2?
Well, this imitation Highlander, it offends me. just its existence. But I did not dislike the movie. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
For a Netflix movie, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I like Highlander, the idea, and the fact that there's not a Highlander new movie coming out yet. They still haven't even gotten in production yet with
Henry Cavill supposed to.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it's supposed to have been made.
But they haven't even started that shit yet. So I was like, what? When are they going to start making this movie? So I guess this is what we got until it comes out. So Uma Thurman being the first, that's interesting. And they also like got the lady off of the bottom of the ocean that was in the coffin.
Oh yeah, they pulled the thing off and she's screaming. That's right. That was from
the
first
sarcophagus
movie.
lady. That's her old girlfriend or something. That's Charlize's old lover.
Charlize Theron's old. Okay, so maybe she's in the mix. So it's like female Highlander essentially is what we're getting here.
Yeah.
Anthony does a
It's
addition.
High Heelander. I don't know.
Highlander. Jesus.
Oh, shit.
God.
Lame.
Does adding Uma Thurman do anything for you? I mean, in the end, you see them battling sword play style, and I was like, that could be interesting.
Well, I remember why we reviewed the Old Guard,
We
right?
did.
I don't think I was a big fan of it. I thought it was a little silly. I remember there being some pretty cheesy needle drops in there.
Yeah.
That said, I think Netflix and the movies they make, they have sort of carved themselves out a niche in the pretty much B movie with A-list actor action subset.
Yes.
Like, they make a lot of those now.
Yes.
And there's clearly an audience for this. I'm surprised that Ruggs isn't like falling over himself every time on Netflix because they're just doing all the old action movies and just throwing the big name stars and just doing it that way.
Mid-budget action movies with big stars. Yes. That's,
Well, I don't even know. Sometimes they throw a lot of money.
Sometimes it's mid to
but they're
high
clearly
budget.
B movies,
Yeah.
right? They're not.
They're not inspiring. They're just kind of like second-rate versions of it.
Yeah. So I think that's their niche amongst many other niches. I think they do a lot of like comedy, and then they sometimes play for Oscars. I will admit, even though I didn't really remember Old Guard, and I don't think I liked it very much, when I saw Uma Thurman on there, I went, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
they're doing the somewhat. I mean, I wouldn't say young because Charlize Theron is not young,
Right.
but they're doing the like modern action female hero versus the throwback female action hero.
She's playing the first Immortal. So I mean, of course, it reminds you of The Bride.
What did I just call her? Mila Jovovich? That's not Mila
Not
Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich. Charlize Theron.
Sure. No. The girl she's fighting.
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman. Yeah.
Uma? Oprah. Uma.
Well, Uma Thurman is an icon for Kill
Right.
Bill.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So she was in one of the most successful female-led action movies of all time, or the two of them that she was in. And Charlize has been an action star
Doing
for
similar
years.
thing. Yeah. Similar thing.
So
Absolutely.
that it's like Schwarzenegger and Stallone being in the movie together.
Yeah.
It has that feeling. So I'm sure it'll be decent, serviceable.
As far as
good,
high-profile actors, that are like Charlize is like a real actress, like a real A-list star that does action movies, and so is Uma. So she's a A-list action star that does action movies too. So we don't really have a lot of. I mean, we do. I think we tend to have more A-list female stars like Scarlett Johansson that have action because you need a name to, and then you train them. And then you put them in a movie.
There's more, women action stars come. I mean, you got Anna de Armas trying to do ballerina.
Yeah, but they do it the opposite way. They're not like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like an action guy that can't act, but can with his charisma and his butt cheeks and his like the way he kicks, like he can carry a film.
Oh, that mullet and those butt cheeks.
I don't think that works anymore.
Yeah,
because I think they tried to kickstart that stuff with like Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey, but like
that didn't work.
Those women were like so bad at acting, and it wasn't even like funny bad. Like, where at least like Jean-Claude, you're like, what did he just say? Did he just cock his leg? Whereas like these girls that are like legit fighters have no charisma and like there's nothing.
Yes,
there's nothing to even like latch onto it. Jean-Claude, for all his like, I mean, for as bad as an actor as he was, had at least some charisma.
He had the presence, right? He had that it thing.
I think that maybe they're gonna, maybe the girl from Karate Kid will, the Cobra Kai.
Oh, Peyton List.
No, the other one, the one that's the karate champ.
Yeah, that's a boy that's a boy in Legends.
No, I'm saying
I'm
from
just
Cobra Kai.
You're saying Tori from Cobra Kai.
No, the
Not
girl
Tony-
that they put in the last.
the girl from
Oh, that girl.
Instagram. Yeah, the
Instagram girl who's a karate champ. I think that's the only. Maybe if they gave her an action movie, that would be the Jean-Claude Van Damme trajectory.
Her acting could use a little bit of work. But like if you're training up someone like an Anna de Armas or Charlize Theron, and they're putting in the work. And Anna de Armas is I saw a whole video of her practicing with Keanu fight moves, and I was like, damn, she's putting in the work. They're training.
Didn't they reshoot that entire movie?
Well, to add more of him, I think there's been some reshoots. But anyways, Old Guard, July 2nd. First one came out 2020, so it's only been 5 years. Nobody remembers. And I'm sure it'll be fun, and we'll forget about it the minute it's over. Like everything else. Hey, let's move on to this. Well, we forget about this. August 21st on Max brings us season 2 of Peacemaker. And I'm already going to play this because I love the first season. Fucking John Cena was just a revelation. I had no idea he could be that funny and then that emotional and actually be good. And the season 2 trailer, Anthony, let's start with you. Looks like it's given us a lot of the same beats, except now we have it in James Gunn's universe. And this is coming out after Superman. And you see Isabella Merced, Hawkgirl, and Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner. Isabella Merced's in everything this year, bro.
She is.
I'm not mad about that. Last of Us, Superman.
Me neither.
Peacemaker.
Me neither. I mean, anytime you can get John Cena and his tighty whities doing stuff.
Yeah, sold.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to see what song he dances to for the opening credits this time. But how does trailer hit you? Are you in on this?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I mean, the opening stuff with Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl talking shit about him and leaving the mic on.
This guy sucks.
I thought it was good. And James Gunn has a huge boner for anything he does. That anything that he can involve his wife.
She's kicking all sorts of ass in this trailer.
Yeah,
Jen Holland.
She's got toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was a great reveal. Where the guy's like, you think he's talking to fucking Peacemaker, and it's her. You're suffering from toxic masculinity. She's like, what? It's great.
I thought it was funny, and I like Peacemaker. I think it's a funny character. I'm sure it'll be good. So yeah,
Ruggs, your boy is in this. You got to be excited.
Oh, Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo.
I think I saw him do a building to building leap in this.
Yeah, Rick Flag Sr. Chris killed his son. So that's going to be interesting. What'd you think of this? And how about that part with Tim Meadows giving everybody nicknames where he's like, titties, you go over here.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
That was fucking hilarious. Pony
you
boy.
can't be politically correct if you're in a kill squad.
Titties, I want you to take the front door. Pony boy, you stay in the back. Ruggs, are you in on this? I love that first season. I'm super excited.
I'm totally in on this. I enjoyed this is something that James Gunn does well. Silly superhero, almost parody of the genre. Yeah, I mean, it's all characters that I really don't care about. Yep. I mean, so he can do whatever he wants with them, and we can have fun with it. And it's just always fun to watch James Gunn give his wife roles.
He's keeping her employed,
making her like the badass of the show. While the John Cena, the big star, is completely a buffoon. Yo,
there's two John Cenas.
It's ironic.
Also, there's two John Cenas at the end of this fucking thing. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh yeah, that was a little bit of a twist at the end.
Yeah, it becomes double impact.
He's got a slightly different looking helmet too, so I don't know if it's like a variant or another universe or what.
If it becomes double impact, we have to see John Cena bone a hot girl.
Yeah. In a very, very strange way. That movie's so strange.
I mean,
you should do a review of that.
You got Eagly, you got Vigilante. It's going to be a lot of fun. August 21st on Max. Okay, moving on, fellas. Little Godzilla news, little teaser. Did you guys see this? The next Godzilla X Kong movie has a title. It's in production. They put out a teaser. It is called Supernova. Godzilla X Kong Supernova.
Oh, shit.
What does that mean? It's got to be aliens, right?
No fucking idea. But I mean, a supernova happens in space.
Happens in space. There are aliens in space. It's the only thing they haven't done yet.
So, maybe it has to do with aliens. Maybe there's a supernova and the aliens have to leave where they are and to come to where we are. Right?
Yes. Are we seeing like what's that one with the?
Maybe there's a champagne supernova in the sky.
Is it a champagne supernova? What kind of supernova?
And maybe all the aliens have a unibrow.
Do they have to fight Noel and Liam Gallagher, the Gallagher brothers?
No, they just fight each other.
They fight each other.
Yeah, they fight amongst themselves. If you guys don't know anything about Oasis, then these jokes are falling
supernova
by the wayside. Anyway, supernova, what could it mean? I don't know. I mean, I think that it's a 50-50 shot. It could be space. It could be space-related monsters. Like we got Ghidorah. He's gone, but maybe Kaiser Ghidorah. You got Gigans from space. You got Space Godzilla from space. You got Orga from space. It could be a completely new kaiju. There could be a supernova, maybe in the Hollow Earth.
Oh,
maybe like whatever that sun is, that power that's lighting up the Hollow Earth. Maybe that
explodes.
Goes out.
Yeah,
I don't know. Then the whole Earth explodes. I don't know. That's a bad idea. Maybe they have to stop it. Maybe King Kong and Godzilla maybe Godzilla's going to swallow it. I don't know. Like, what the fuck is he going to do?
Anthony, speculation. What do you think?
I'm thinking. I think space is in play. I think maybe Space Godzilla, all those characters that Ruggs mentioned. I also think, I don't know, supernova can be anything. It could be, maybe they do a destroy all monsters type thing, where it's like all the monsters fighting each other. I really have no fucking idea. I am like, it is pure speculation at this point what they're doing.
It's a really out of left field title, though, for real. Like,
yeah.
So
I didn't even know that it was like this close to in production. I didn't know that was happening.
Do you know about Watch This Space?
No.
So multiple people have dropped that line that have to do with the movie. I think one of the actors dropped that line, Watch This Space. And then there's like a running code in that teaser.
Oh.
That's on the screen.
Well, there's a phone number too. You can call it and leave a Titan sighting.
Right. And so if you get that code, it says something like watch this space, Godzilla, Kong, watch this space. And then all of a sudden it ends in watch this space, Godzilla.
Whoa.
And like it's supposed to be like this repeating pattern, but it stops there. So maybe it is Space Godzilla.
So
or they're trying to make
this one is directed by Grant Spitore. Remember?
It's not Adam Wingard. I Am Mother.
Yes, and there's a cast list. I don't know if we talked about this. According to Wikipedia, you got Caitlin Dever, who's in The Last of Us right now.
Right.
Dan Stevens returning as that character. Jack O'Connell, Delroy Lindo as a Monarch boss.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Modine as a general, and Sam Neill. Oh, interesting. They have started shooting in Australia. So, yeah, we're getting another one. Very interesting teaser. I have not called that number, but I was curious if somebody picks up or there's
just breathe heavy when they answer.
Yes.
It's not coming out for a couple years, though.
It's not coming out until March 2027.
Better get shooting.
So they're shooting it now, but they're not done. Okay, last thing, Ruggs, I'm going to hand this over to you because there's a video that came out that's kind of crazy. It's a 10-minute leaked sizzle reel for a movie called Kung Fury 2. Now, tell us about Kung Fury, the first one.
Well, about 9 or something years ago, like a long time ago, there was a short that was on YouTube. You can watch it right now.
Yep.
Go to YouTube, watch Kung Fury.
Yes.
And it was like this cheesy 80s infused, like it was all like neon, like Lamborghinis, like headbands, sunglasses, 80s like wristbands. And it's about this cop who meets a ninja and then realizes he's the chosen one, and he's kind of like Neo. He knows Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And he just starts kicking everyone's ass Kung Fu style. And it's a really ridiculous, super kind of funny, exaggerated action film. So it's a comedy action. It's action comedy. It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
I mean, this guy did it at home.
There's like
you
there's like hyper violence, people split in two, blood
but it's
everywhere.
like very cartoony. It's almost like a dude playing with his action figures come to life.
Yeah, it's silly.
So this sizzle reel, the backstory of this, I guess they were going to make a full movie in 2019, and a full movie was made, but because an investing company pledged $10 million, never paid them, and they are suing them, it's been locked up in a legal battle. And this was an internal promo video. It was never supposed to be out in public. It was leaked, but the director has said this is legit. Now, explain what happens in this 10-minute scissor reel. It's wild. The people, actors that he got to be in this, if this ever got made, it would be amazing. I kind of wish they would put this out. But explain this sizzle reel.
So people are calling this Kung Fury 2.
Yeah, but it's really Kung
but it's
Fury
not.
the
It's
movie.
it's just that they're going to take the idea from that short film and make it into a full movie. Now, so Kung Fury is this cop that beats up people, and I guess he has a whole force now. He has the Kung Fury force. What are they called?
The
I don't know.
Thunder Cops?
The Thunder Cops.
Yes.
And
the Thunder Cops consist of dinosaur cops. There's
there's fucking dinosaurs that are just like people.
Yes, T-Rex and a Triceratops.
There's a T-Rex on the team. There's a Triceracop. There is a barbarian girl on the team.
There's a hacker with like a Nintendo Power Glove.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. There's fucking bald eagle people.
Yes, there's eagle people, and they're fighting Hitler, of course.
And they're fighting, they're fighting Nazis because that's the
Hitler.
best people that you could always fight. And on top of all of this, you got Michael Fassbender in the movie.
The fuck?
And he plays like a rival cop to Kung Fury.
Colt Magnum. He's got like the mullet and the sunglasses and the Chuck Norris mustache. He's kind of like a Chuck Norris type character.
Yeah. And it's very homoerotic. It's like they're buddies, they're buddy cops, and they hate each other, but they love each other. And then all of a sudden, there is a untimely death, and Kung Fury goes crazy, and then the Nazis attack. And you know who has to come answer the call? The President of the United States. And the President of the United States is Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger.
That's amazing. He's never played the president in anything.
And he's got this giant rifle that looks like an eagle.
Yes, he's got
he's
an
just
eagle
walking through
rifle.
the White House, smoking cigars and blowing people away with his
terrorists away. And then David Hasselhoff is also in this. You got to watch this 10-minute thing because it has dinosaurs and robots and Nazis and kung fu, and it's the wildest fucking thing.
It's got some funny shit in there too. Like, they got these two statues of themselves, like these giant statues, and the box, where the boxing bag
is
where the testicles are.
Yes, he's working the bag with the nuts of the statue.
There's some funny shit in there. Like,
it looks like they had money to have better lighting and shit. But like, can you imagine if something this over the top came in the theaters? I think it would be huge.
I have to go see this in the
movie.
have
to. I would have to. Anthony,
because it's beyond ridiculous.
Anthony, you scrub through this thing at all? I mean, they're jumping through time at one point. There's a guy that's like Dr. Doom, but what's he called? His name is what is it?
I don't remember his name.
He's got a funny name.
He has gunchucks.
Oh, gunchucks. That's what I was gonna mention.
Oh shit.
Two guns with a chain between them so you can use them as nunchucks and they fire.
You shoot while you're doing nunchucks.
I mean, that's as good as the brass knuckles with the gun strap to it from Boy Kills World. Gunchucks?
Sure.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah, it's pretty wild. If you like to laugh at shit like this, I would check it out for sure. I want to see this movie.
I know.
So let's make that happen.
How can we raise money? Somebody finish this.
I don't know if we have to raise money, but I would just use the power of social media to make everybody do what you want. Like, that's how everything works, right?
I mean, there's giant robots.
Pressure everybody into making.
Anthony, you gonna look at any of this at all? You scrub through it.
What?
Did you watch any of this at all?
He's looking at.
Are you?
He's looking at his Instagram feed.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Where are we?
What happened?
What are we talking about?
What happened?
Are we still talking about the X-Men?
No.
Okay.
movie will never come out, but it should be made. Let's get it done. Anyways, let's take a break here, fellas. Go play some promos. We'll come back and talk about Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible 2 right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
Turn your dial to find the frequency of the past.
Captain Midnight.
Where the classic stories of mysteries, sci-fi, thrillers, and suspense are found waiting to be heard once again.
Another case for Nick Carter, Master Detective.
You'll find a variety of those stories here, in their original form, where each episode takes you to another place or time.
The Man of Bronze, Doc Savage.
But only when you find the mystery frequency. Available everywhere.
The Shadow knows.
Doc and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, this is a great time to join our Patreon fan club. Just visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. There is a link in the episode description, and you can give back on a monthly or annual basis. And you get stuff like access to a bonus podcast feed where the shows come out early. We have bonus content posted there, instant reactions, bonus reviews. Rug Boy posted up a couple of things this week, which we'll talk about. It's funny because last week we had Anthony's Andor rant and then kind of a response from Rug Boy about the newest set of episodes. Can't wait to talk about that. And you can also join us for our monthly Discord hangouts. Fellas, then it's this week again. It's a month has passed. This Thursday, May 15th.
Oh my God.
You're out. You're a son of a bitch. Ruggs will be there this time. Ruggs, join me.
Sure.
I'm catching the 9:45 p.m. showing at the Alamo. The Alamo. I'm all about the Alamo now. Of Friendship, the new A24 Paul Rudd movie.
Oh, that's the one with that Tim Robinson?
Robinson, yeah.
Dude, that dude's really funny. He has a very unique sense of humor point of view. I'd be curious to see how that is. I heard it's supposed to be really funny. So.
Yeah, I've heard good things, so looking forward to seeing it.
All right. Look at you, Mr. Living at the Alamo.
I'm going to be at the Alamo 3 more times. I'm going to be there for that. And then I'm going to a Jaws movie party.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm seeing fun. Stand By Me.
Oh, my God. Your punch card. You'll get a 10th movie free in no time.
Right.
With that. All right. But Ruggs and I will be there this Thursday. Join us. We do it once a month.
At the Alamo? No way.
Not at the Alamo. At the Discord.
Oh.
Anyways, there's other fun stuff. Support.
We'll be at the Lamo.
We'll be at the Lamalo. Not the Alamo.
Not the Alamo. We'll be at the Lamo.
Not funny. That's where we'll be. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. If you want to give back for all this stupidity, sign up today. Okay, fellas, let's get to this week's review. We will be looking at Mission Impossible 2 from the year 2000. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
How do we get here? Anthony, can you explain why we're doing this movie? What's your rationale?
What's my rationale? Yeah. Well, in 2 weeks, we are doing the Last Reckoning, Mission Impossible.
Final Reckoning.
Final Reckoning, Last Reckoning, Dead Reckoning, Part 2. Yeah. You wrecked it. You bought it. I mean, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm going to wreck it.
Wreck it.
Whatever it's called. We're doing that movie. And we like to occasionally do the old classics that inspire these sequels. And originally, I had thrown out there doing Mission Impossible 1. We did talk about it briefly in our 90s action movie.
Yes, it was one.
Tournament.
Yes, it was a runner. Yeah.
But I vividly remember Simran saying Mission Impossible 1 is boring.
It's a little boring.
And I agree, it is a little boring. Brian De Palma, but it definitely not what it became.
Right.
And then Rugg suggested Mission Impossible 2, John Woo, because it's crazy, and we all agreed, and here we are.
I think it's perfect to look at arguably or the worst Mission Impossible movie before looking at some of the best shit as the franchise panned out. But yes, this is the second of 7, soon to be 8 movies of a franchise that started in 1996. Sequel to first Mission Impossible. It's 29 years this franchise has been around. It's fucking crazy. On Rotten Tomatoes, here's why I call it arguably the worst. It's 57% tomato meter. The audience gave it 42%. So this is the lowest tomato meter out of all the Mission Impossible movies.
Letterboxd had it at 2.7 out of 5 stars.
Ooh, yeah, that's low. That's low. This is number 7 out of 7. Number highest rated one was the last one, Dead Reckoning Part 1 at 96%. This movie came out May 24th, 2000. That's almost exactly 29 years ago. 29 years ago.
29 years ago? What are you talking about?
Sorry, 25 years ago. 25 years ago. I was still thinking of the first movie. It was 1996.
I mathed it.
The math.
I made a math.
It doesn't math. The math ain't
2000.
Almost
May 24th, 2000. Exactly 29 years ago.
It is the 25th anniversary of this fucking movie. The budget of this movie, about $120 to $125 million. So what's crazy is despite the low Rotten Tomatoes numbers, this movie finishes with $215 million domestic, $546 worldwide. It is the number one worldwide box office of the year. And then
546 million.
And at 215, it is the number 2 best of the year domestic. Anthony, what's some of those 2000 movies we had?
Oh, shit. I wasn't prepped. Give me a second.
I got a link in here. Because even though it was 2000, this is like a retro. I mean, it was 25 years ago. It was a different time. It's a different time,
right.
Different place.
So if we're looking at movies that calendar year, number 1 was How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Wow.
Number 2 was Mission Impossible 2. Number 3, Gladiator.
This is the year Gladiator came out. That's right.
Number 4, The Perfect Storm.
That's a good movie.
Number 5, Meet the Parents.
Comedy.
6, X-Men.
And that's huge. And there's a tie-in to this movie, to X-Men. Yes.
7, Scary Movie.
Great.
8, What Lies Beneath. I don't remember that movie at all. Number 9, Dinosaur.
I don't remember Dinosaur either. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie at all either. 10, Aaron Brockovich.
2000, not a bad year. You had other
movies.
There's other great movies.
Quick. Nutty Professor 2.
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Big Mama's House.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
That's a good movie.
The Patriot.
That's a pretty good movie.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Nick Cage.
Scream 3. Hollow Man, The Green Mile, Shaft. Yeah, those are some of those.
You had other comedies, Me, Myself, and Irene. I remember that being pretty big. And Castaway, this is a pretty impressive year here. 2000. So with that take, it's the second best opening. It has the second best opening weekend and domestic for the franchise. And it's the 5th best worldwide for the franchise. It's kind of interesting. This one directed by John Woo, who up until this time had a run of Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Face Off, and starring, of course, Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt in the second go around. Now, Tom Cruise's run from the first Mission Impossible, he does Jerry Maguire, Eyes Wide Shut, and then Magnolia, and then this movie, and then Vanilla Sky, Minority Report. So, not a bad run for Tom Cruise in the late 90s, early 2000s. Also starring in this movie, Dougray Scott as Sean Ambrose, rogue IMF agent. Thandie Newton as the female love interest thief, Nia Hall. You got Ving Rhames as Luther, Brendan Gleeson as McCloy, and a couple other people. Dominic Purcell was in this small role. I don't even remember seeing him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played Ulrich. Who was Ulrich? It must have been one of the thugs. But there's your main cast. Music by Hans Zimmer. This is PG-13 movie, 2 hours and 3 minutes. Anthony, give me, first of all, how many times have you seen this? Is this your first or second time watching this movie? What's your history?
This was my first time watching it in full.
Oh, snap. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. I wasn't a Mission Impossible guy.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't consider myself a Mission Impossible guy, but I'm a late adopter. So I haven't, like, for example, I haven't seen, up until yesterday, I hadn't seen 2.
How many of the 7 have you seen?
I saw 3 in the movie theater, but I was in senior year making out with the girl I was dating the entire movie.
Sure.
So I don't remember that movie very much at all. I haven't seen 4.
Right.
And then I've seen the rest.
Okay. So what happens in MI2?
MI2, Ethan Hunt is tasked with a mission, if he shall so accept, where he has to track down a stolen virus and the antidote to that virus that could kill the world. And it was stolen by an was it UHF, UMF? IMF representative.
Yes.
Yeah. So he has to work with Anthony Hopkins and a good-looking lady to get this stuff. And it's directed by John Woo, so doves and pigeons are everywhere.
Yeah, well, let's just get into it, Anthony. Opening thoughts. This is a John Woo movie. What'd you think? First time watching this one.
I mean, it's stupid. It is very dumb. It is very 2000s. It is it's very John Woo.
John Woo.
I think at this point in John Woo's American movie-making career and just his overall career, it could be argued that he'd become kind of a parody of himself. Like he'd been just doing the same things in every single movie.
Yeah.
It's silly. There's plenty of times where I went just like, this is ridiculous. But I liked it a lot more than the first one, and I had a really good time.
Yeah, following John Woo.
But you have to know going. I think this is the type of movie where you have to go in and go into this going, especially if you haven't seen it for the first time. You have to go and say, they didn't really figure out what the formula was yet for Mission Impossible.
Right.
And this is a John Woo, Tom Cruise movie.
It's not a Mission Impossible movie. It is a John Woo movie.
First and foremost, it's a John Woo movie. So if you go in with that mindset, I think you'll have a good time. If you're not familiar with John Woo or don't really have a taste for the things he does, then you'll think this movie is really stupid.
I mean, there's a lot of face-off in this movie, and he had just done face-off.
A lot of everything.
A lot of everything.
Yeah,
a lot of everything.
It's all John Woo's
It's everything.
things that he loves to do.
So, Ruggs, now this clearly, we haven't gotten to it's the start of the death stunts for Tom Cruise, I feel a little bit. He doesn't really get into it that much.
He's rock climbing.
He's doing some free climbing. There are still stunt doubles. But what did you think of this movie when you first saw it and now? And is there any way to
I fucking love this movie when I saw it.
Okay.
When my little, I don't know, I was 20 years old or something.
Yeah.
When I was 20 something, like maybe 25, I think, or something when this movie came out. And I was like in my mid 20s and I fucking loved this movie. And I had watched a bunch of John Woo movies. I was into John Woo.
Yeah.
I was into this shit. I was into fucking all this shit. I was like, oh, this is going to be like what takes Mission Impossible in another direction. It's going to be like an action franchise. It's going to be Tom Cruise doing action movies. And he's wearing a black leather jacket. He's wearing black sunglasses like Neo.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all the shit that like trench coats and sunglasses and slow-mo out the ass. This kind of slow-mo gave Zack Snyder the biggest boner of his life when he watched this. I don't know. I loved it when I was a kid. And then when I watched it a couple times later, I was like, whoa, this movie is really bad, but I still kind of like it, like Hard Target.
Yes.
It's like it has the same charm as Hard Target. Not as much. It doesn't have Jean-Claude like kicking somebody and then shooting them at the same time, but like it's still hilarious in its own way. And I even like how the bad guy's like the hardest part of being you is grinning like an idiot all the time. So there's self-aware shit in there too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. Fucking Anthony Hopkins is in there for no apparent reason.
I forgot to mention Anthony fucking Hopkins. I was like, what are you doing in this movie?
They fucking dance with cars.
Oh yeah,
they make car stands.
Yes. So I went through the same kind of thing. Like I think when I first saw it, it was John Woo was hot, right? I got discovered Hard Boiled, and then Hard Target and Face Off, and I was also in my 20s.
If a movie had a guy with two guns jumping sideways
and shooting, you were like, yes, I'm all in.
This is what I live for.
Yeah. And then I remember watching it years later and going, ugh. And then I'm watching it again now, and it's very John Woo, but there are aspects of this you can enjoy. Like I think the third act, some of the action is ridiculous, but it's super enjoyable. This is a movie where the plot does not matter at all, and it's so contrived and convoluted. There's so much staring into each other's eyes.
Yeah, it's very melodramatic.
And melodrama. And like Dougray Scott's not even like the best villain at all. But some of the fucking shit at the end, when I watched it again, I was like, okay, he's spinning and flipping and kicking. And what I think is hilarious is Ethan Hunt never uses any of these fight moves ever again.
No.
In any of the movies. He just forgot all the martial arts.
He just loves flip spinning and leg drops and kicks. And yeah, it's...
How long is that fight scene at the end?
Yeah, they're punching each other.
First of all, they run the bikes into each other.
What were they going to do there?
The bikes explode. Then they fall off of a cliff and land on fucking hard sand. And then they're fine. And then they start beating the shit out of each other for another like 10 minutes.
None of the physics actually works in that whole scene, if you think about it. And I was like...
This is the type of movie where the Fast and Furious watched it and were like, hey, we can get away with doing that stuff. Look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, we can blame John Woo for Zack Snyder slow-mo.
Oh, yeah. This is the whole Fast and Furious franchise. Like, use this as a blueprint for sure.
Absolutely. No, the physics there. I think what I'll add, though, is Anthony Hopkins is in the movie. There is, like, we can get to some of your thoughts, Imran, your questions. But I want to say there is, like, good John Woo sexual chemistry in the beginning with Tom Cruise and the girl, where they're in the tub and they're on top of each other and they're talking like super close face to face. I thought their little relationship, like I bought in right away, like they just want to fuck each other.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. I thought the action scenes were fun. There were plenty of times where I laughed just because Tom Cruise is doing Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I thought that's hilarious.
Yes,
I also had to laugh when Anthony Hopkins shows up, and then it's a ruse, right? So the girl's a thief, but they don't actually need her to be a thief. They need her to be the new girlfriend, or replay the ex-girlfriend part to this guy,
right?
To the main villain. And Cruise, I wrote this down. Cruise goes, she's not qualified. And Hopkins, without skipping a beat, goes, to go to bed with a man and lie to him, she's a woman. She's got all the training she needs.
Yeah, that's a great line. That's a great 2000s line. You could never say that now.
Exactly. I was like, this is 2000.
Yeah, it's a very misogynistic film, and and that's fun.
Oh, the 2000s.
Yeah,
late 90s, in 90s, and this movie is literally 2000, so it's like it's still got that. Yeah, we're gonna be just asshole men and watch a movie about men.
It's a guy movie.
Yeah,
they're not trying to please the female audience at all.
Yeah,
no,
they know that there's no women going to watch this movie unless they're dragged by their boyfriends. So they're making the movie for men. They're making it for men.
They're making it for men, but then they like have the weird, like Tom Cruise has a lesbian haircut and is dressed like Neo for most of the movie.
Yes.
So it's got like a weird mix of like masculinity, but then also he's dressed like a woman, but then he also looks like Neo on a motorcycle. It's like, well, there's so many different things going on here.
I thought that scene is great. Their little stealing meet cute where he's onto her, like really, it was very cute, and the chemistry works right away. And then
it reminds me of the chemistry that J-Lo and Clooney had in
Get Out or Get Out.
Jesus Christ, No. I'm talking about Out of Sight.
Out of Sight. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reminded me of that kind of vibe when they were like flirting like that and robbing.
But
stuff.
then I even love he's stalking her in the car and that the car chase. Like the car chase is filmed well. There's some fun car stunts, but then they're just double spinning, and then she almost dies, and he saves her, and then they bang. They look into each other's eyes, and there you go. They're in love.
I mean, that's
Nice
how it
and
was
simple.
in the 90s
Yeah.
and early
Yep.
2000s,
That's
right?
all
Like
you
the
had to
the hero would save the girl, and she'd be like, "Let me take off all my clothes right now."
And the opening is great. I mean, after you get through the plane bit with the Chimera and the Bellerophon.
Oh well, but you also get the worst one of the worst CGI shots of a plane you'll ever see to start, where they just do the establishing shot, and you're like, oh, this is that era when they figured out they could make things with CGI.
Yeah,
They didn't realize how bad it looked.
Yeah, it's
and they thought, well, if we just throw CGI on there, that's enough, right?
Yes, it's a little dated.
A little.
But yeah, the plane crash, and they say Chimera and Bellerophon a lot. But then Tom Cruise free climbing in Utah, right? So like I said, he had wires on. They just took the wires out, but that's him hanging there. He does do that jump. He tears his shoulder during that jump. Couple of the scenes, there's stunt doubles in there, but I think it's hilarious. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, and you're just like, what's it's just to look cool.
You know, they're playing
Limp Bizkit.
No, they're playing Ico Ico.
Oh,
as he's climbing, and that's like a tribute to Rain Man, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you think this was Cruise being like, hey, Mission Impossible 1, everyone remembers it for that stunt where I'm hanging.
Yeah.
I need to do more stunts? Or was it Wu being like, hey, Cruise, you need to do more stunts? And we're going to start off, we're going to do an establishing shot of you just free climbing. Like, whose idea do you think it was?
I don't know. I mean, Tom Cruise did Top Gun and Days of Thunder. Those were like his pre-action. He never really did like an action movie.
Yeah, that's what I was starting to see. Is this his first time getting in his action chops? Really, kind of.
I think this is where he's like, I'm going in with the biggest action director. I'm going to like kind of change my whole vibe and be an action star.
So I think it was both, and I feel like they both egged each other on. Here's what I know: the guy who wrote it, Robert Town, I think his name, he has said, he wrote the screenplay. He has said he wrote around the action scenes that they wanted to do. Robert Town wrote the screenplay. Ronald D. Moore actually worked on the story. So Robert Town said, I wrote around these action scenes that came to me with. Tom Cruise also lied to the insuring company and told them all the stunts were going to be done by a stunt team. And they obviously weren't. And he had to fund some of this movie himself because they were going over budget and it was taking too long and Paramount was freaking out. So this is like the beginning of him starting to make this franchise his like passion project to see how far he can push it, I think.
Well, I mean, it shows, right? Like, there are elements that they do take from this and from the first one, but more so even from this, with like the stunts and the jumping out of planes and all that kind of stuff. That stuff carries over later on, where it's like, okay, this is now a thing in Mission Impossible where we have to put him in these death-defying situations. Like,
he's like skydiving through a fucking thing.
Yeah, right.
It gets
Exactly.
bigger and bigger.
Yeah, like he's diving through the vent at a certain rate. Now it's obviously CGI, but like I think this movie like crawled before Mission Impossible could run.
Yeah,
where it's like our thing that makes us different is like it's these missions, right? Which is from the TV show. These obviously impossible missions, but it's also what kind of crazy scenario can we make Tom Cruise like risk his life in?
That's true.
Yeah.
And that kind of starts here more so even than that first one, where the first one was him dropping from the roof and not trying to get like sweat on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the big action
That was
scene
like the big stunt here.
There was like a train scene where he's on the top of a train.
Right.
But it wasn't like, it wasn't, you wouldn't call that an action movie. It has action in it, but it's not like a traditional, like, this is a John Woo movie. Like, John Woo is the king of action at this time in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Before the Wachowski brothers kind of come onto the scene, and before there's a couple of other directors that are coming onto the scene, like that are known, like McTiernan he's a player. You got all, but he's like old school. We have like this new school Hong Kong thing coming in, where there's Asian influences and their sensibilities of, you know, they don't have like the insurance problems over there. They just fucking throw people off buildings.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like Jackie Chan just jump off a roof.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a whole kind of, it's a way more daring way of making films, and the reality goes out the window. You don't fire two guns at the same time. It doesn't make sense. You can't aim.
This motherfucker is driving a motorcycle in a front wheelie and shooting accurately and spinning all at once without missing.
Yeah, and it's
amazing.
Like, this is about being creative with action.
Yeah.
This is about making it more than just a guy shooting somebody, but making it a moment, right? Making it a theatrical, cinematic thing. And yes, you got to throw realism out the window when you're doing it sometimes. But I think that because John Woo brought all that stuff, and all of these Hong Kong directors brought a lot of that, like floral stuff into it, like flourishes and the style. Like we picked up on a lot of that stuff, and now we've been able to kind of move to where, we can have some of the cinematic action happen, and Mission Impossible is doing it better than ever now. So they've taken this and they've applied it and maximized it. And you have people like John Wick. There's some of fucking this in John Wick.
Absolutely, the spinning and the shooting flourishes and
I think like Wick,
the hair,
yeah.
Well, I think like this movie, when I was thinking about like this movie in the grand scheme of action movies, I think this movie clearly is like the end of the line for Woo, and like that style in like I think that era almost ends with this movie, where it's like this like over the top action. Like there are some like B movies that still continue that. Like I would argue like the Statham films still do some of that stuff.
Furious,
yeah, but
Matrix.
Those films more were like started getting even more fantastical, but not like it wouldn't be like shoot, slide across and shoot and have pigeons flying out. Right? Like it would be more like what kind of stunts can we get in? What kind of quips can we say? So I think like here, like there's not a ton of there's some quips, but it's not quippy. It's more like Woo's a style.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at like the movies that came out after from Woo,
like,
none of them are like all that relevant anymore.
No.
Like, this is literally like the last American movie he makes.
Remember, he disappears for a while and goes to China for the.
Well, that like we all talk about and can like review and be like, oh, this is a great time. Like I think this is clearly.
Yeah, it really is. If you look, outside of those Chinese movies. I mean, recently, with Silent Night and The Killer were both not good, and then after this, he does Paycheck.
This is literally like his end in terms of like a mainstream guy that we talk about, like that non-action movie, like non-hardcore fans would like know about.
That's true. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, and then he like goes back to China and does these Red Cliff movies, and then doesn't do anything for a while. I love that Luther is in this. I think he's in every single one, and then it isn't.
Yes.
And then Simon Pegg, I think, joins in the next movie. They build this team that's still with him, which is great. So the problem for me is the structure of this movie, because all the action is in like the third act, and there's a large part of this movie where his slow motion and his melodrama just kind of slows it down, right? The whole thing.
There's a lot of slow-mo,
a lot of slow-mo.
So much slow-mo. They're just staring at each other for hours.
But how amazing is Tandy Newton?
She's great.
She's very pretty and does a great job.
She's a good actress.
She is, yes. I forgot she was in Westworld. She was really good in that.
She adds charisma. Yeah. Her daughter was in the Last of Us. She was Pedro Pascal's kid.
Oh, she was Sarah. Oh.
Yeah, and she looks just like her mom.
Oh.
But she's gonna be in that new How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Dude, I saw that.
I think her name is Nico.
That trailer I saw in IMAX, it looks stunning. That looked like a good time. Live action How to Train Your Dragon. But they do things like this whole horse track scene where like she's stealing the memory card and it's got pickpocket him and get it to Ethan, who gets it to Luther, or downloads it, gets it back to her, she puts it back in his jacket. It's just, I get it. It's espionage. But he knew she was doing that, right? The whole time.
Yeah, he totally knew. He's an IMF agent. He knows what's the fuck's going on.
So this bad guy's kind of a step ahead of Ethan.
He's like Tom Cruise, bad Tom Cruise.
And
I think the movie, though, like, just to like talk about why it slows down a bit, I think Woo, that's where like the incongruency of this franchise and Woo doesn't make the most sense. Like, I don't think John Woo doing an espionage thriller is like really his wheelhouse. He's more like straight up, like, let's do like either a kooky premise,
right,
but like leading to like a clash, or like let's put someone in a situation where there's thousands of guys and he's gonna gun everyone down. But when you like take him out of that and you put him into like, okay, now we got to work in the espionage and all that stuff, and then you're doing all the John Woo-isms of like slow-mo and all, and like operatic music when the fake Ethan Hunt dies.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny to me, but it, like, I can see why people would be like, that doesn't work at all.
How many times did people put the Ethan Hunt mascot in this movie? It was getting a little annoying.
The guy is like a foot taller than him too.
Yes, you guys, that's
It morphs your height for sure.
Yeah, everybody was Ethan Hunt, and she falls for it. Sean Ambrose, Ethan Hunt twice, and she falls for it.
But the thing is like John Woo, he likes to make movies about characters and relationships, like. Yeah. In The Killer, it's like the detective and the guy, and then the girl with those blind.
Yep.
And it's a lot of melodrama that goes on. Like The Killer's not all out action all the time. Right. There's a lot of like slow moments in that film.
But the guy always wants to save the girl.
Yeah, so I think that this is all baked into John Woo doing the movie.
Well, even like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think that it's just he's gonna spend time on this shit. Unfortunately.
Well, I think like that works, right? So even like Face Off. It's a lot of the movie's just about these two men and the relationships they have with their children and like lost like it's a lot of like family stuff, and that all works there. Whereas this movie, he doesn't really have anything to like really get melodramatic about. So he just kind of still gets melodramatic, and it's not like like the relationship Ethan Hunt has with that girl.
Yeah.
Isn't as deep as the relationship that Nicolas Cage has with his surrogate son in Face Off. Like, there's just not as much depth there to mine. So when it gets super melodramatic, it's really just kind of cheesy.
It's hilarious because the first time he sees her, it goes right into slow-mo. All the music drops out. It's just like they're intense staring from across the room. It's fucking hilarious.
I loved... there was like at least two scenes where they cut and you look at, they have the eyeballs of the character and you can see the reflection of what's happening in their eyes.
So many reflections in eyes in this movie.
Oh yeah, the reflections
the
everywhere.
Sunglasses and the eyeballs. He loves that shit. So let's talk about the action, because I feel like it doesn't pick up until the whole scene where he's got to drop in through the vents. He's got 40 seconds to clear the cable. That's great, right? It's obviously... It's not a practical stunt like he does later, but good tension. Of course, the cable clears just perfectly. Doesn't get caught on anything.
They throw a clock in there where they're not going to be able to contact him for 5 minutes.
Then there's, 8 minute while the generators are on. Huge shootout. Lots of glass blowing. Lots of jumping and sliding with two guns. It's fucking fantastic. Here's some of the hilarious shit that John Woo does that I love. How about that scene when Luther is in the van and the guy puts the bomb under the van? And Luther, how does he know there's a bomb there? He sees the perfect reflection of the digits in a puddle on the sidewalk through the rear view mirror. Just all perfectly lined up for him.
Isn't it great?
To see. And then he gets caught. He can't get out, almost gets blown up. And I was like, oh my God, that's fucking...
he was definitely dead.
That was fucking hilarious how he saw the perfect reflection. And then and then you get the whole bit where she injects herself with the thing, right? Now you have another ticking clock of 20 hours. And there's some crazy shit here because he just leaves her. He just blows a hole, jumps out the building, and
it always cuts to her like wandering through the forest, like contemplating suicide.
That's the other thing I didn't get, because Ambrose's plan was to leave her in the middle of Sydney so that when after the 20 hours, she dies, she can affect everybody.
It didn't make any sense.
And then the next thing you see her, she's walking through the fucking woods at the coast on the cliff. I'm like, how the fuck?
She head to high ground. She got a cab and got the fuck out of there.
Well, no, I'm more like Ambrose. Why the fuck wouldn't you have someone with her? Because your plan just went to shit. Yeah. She's just gonna die by herself, and no one's gonna need the vaccine. Yeah,
you need someone guarding her and watching her. How about that video of what Chimera does? The different stages that
it kills you in 30 hours.
You're okay for the first 20 hours, and then by hour 30, you look like me. I think I have this disease.
Yeah, they show like a sequence of the guy at 20 hours, at 27 hours, and at 30 hours, he looks like the Crypt Keeper. So
by 37 hours, I was like, oh, maybe that's what I have. Why do I look like this person?
Yeah, you're just loaded with Chimera.
Also, you get great drone shots in a John Woo movie. He does that great.
You get to learn about Greek myths.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. You get to learn about Bellerophon and Chimera. And then some other great moments as Tom Cruise breaks in, right? And he runs through a group of pigeons and does this reverse flip kick utilizing both legs. The first leg kicks the gun out of the guy's hand. The second leg kicks him in the head. Can you do that?
Guile does it.
Is that actually...
Yeah, John was like, we're going to do the fucking Street Fighter kick. All right? We're going to do it. We're doing it.
I was like, this is those physics work. But I do love when he blows the door. And then you see him walk past the fire in the background. And then you see a dove fly through the door. Where the fuck was this dove? And then Ambrose is just run that bastard down.
See, all what you're saying, like we think, as
it's
action
ridiculous.
movie guys, we think it's funny and it's good. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I do think this movie, I'm glad it's fucking made because it's hilarious. But I also think like John Woo's American movies prior to this were like his wheelhouse, and I think putting him with like a bigger franchise like this, I don't think it made the most sense. Like, I think
no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But like, it just imagine. I don't even know how to even go about it. You take a something that actually had some prestige, like
right.
You know, Brian De Palma.
Yeah,
you know, he's a good filmmaker, and he made this movie a beloved TV show,
right?
And then you just get like fucking John Woo, who's making Hong Kong films. And, schlocky films about, like, people swapping faces.
Yeah, coming off Face Off.
And, like, a fucking guy with a mullet, like, just cocking his leg and shooting it like a gun in the fucking... in
Hard Target.
Yeah, in Hard Target. And now he's making this movie. I mean...
It was a big hit, though, surprisingly.
It's like putting Albert Puyun on, like...
You know who was originally attached to direct this early on? They wanted to go
Albert Puyun.
Not Albert Puyun. They were going to go from Brian De Palma to Oliver Stone for a hot second.
Far different film.
Yes, they went to go from Oliver Stone to fucking John Woo. It would have been a completely
like the closest that you would get is to get Mick G. Remember Mick G?
Oh yes, Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels. The same year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think Mick G was like trying to imitate John Woo.
Sure.
And
I mean, I think a lot of these guys.
Which movie's more silly? I think Charlie's Angels is definitely more silly.
I mean, this would be like, I'm trying to think of a modern equivalent, and this isn't the best equivalent, but I'm just going to say it anyways. This would be like Gareth Emery, who's done The Raid.
Oh, Gareth Evans.
Gareth Evans, excuse me. Gareth Emery's a DJ. Gareth Evans, who's done The Raid and all that stuff, and they're like, hey, we're going to make a sequel to Sinners, and we're going to give it to Gareth Evans. Like that's kind of how I feel like what this feels like is like, let's get this like
I would watch that
very niche action director and give him a big project that like has some critical acclaim.
It's like, let's give James Gunn Superman.
See what happens.
Somewhat.
Another great scene is when he fights that dude Stamp, and then you just see Stamp drag Ethan Hunt tied up back, but you notice he's not opening his mouth and mumbling. This is odd. Oh, it's the old switcheroo, of course. I don't know why Ambrose, who had played Ethan twice, didn't catch on to this sooner.
Well, that's where they play the operatic music when he gets
and then
quote-unquote killed.
He shoots his right-hand man. But
it is so melodramatic.
Then a great shot because he grabs the virus and the antidote and then rips the face off and he's fucking running. He's off and running.
Tom Cruise is running.
That's what and then it kicks in as he's doing some slow motion upside down shooting stunts, which are fun, and then just motorcycles out of nowhere. The motorcycles just
like let's get them with these motorcycles that are not dirt bikes.
They're like crotch rockets.
Yeah, these are like road bikes, and they're just driving them on the grass. So I'm like,
you also though, like think about like logically, they're on these motorcycles, right? They're both wearing leather trench coats.
Yes.
Those things are fucking getting caught in the wheel and they're both fucking dying, right? Immediately.
Yes. You learn a couple of things here. Like if you shoot at a guy on a motorcycle, he'll just fly back instantly. Also, if you
how many times did that motorcycle that Cruise is riding on gets shot at and still just work okay. Like he uses it as like a shield at some points.
Yeah, he's sliding around on it and shit.
And it's just fine, like ready to go.
I will say the stunt work here, there is a moment where he's doing a bike jump. Luther's firing RPGs to the car on the bridge. It's exploding. He's riding through the fire. Like, that shit was dope. I was like, this is fucking great crazy. Right here. Like, just some cool fucking John Woo shots.
I mean, it's literally the same thing he does in Face Off where they're on the boat and the boat jumps through the fire with both of them on it.
Yes. Except this time, it's a
motorcycle.
It has a motorcycle finale, and you got him doing a front wheel wheelie and spinning and shooting and doing smoke screens and just riding on the side of the bike to avoid getting hit. It ends with them playing chicken, driving at each other. They jump over each other for some reason a lot. Jump up in the air. The bike has a bullet in the gas tank, so the bikes explode. But then they're pushed off to the side for some reason. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they land on the fucking sand, and then they start this like 10-minute long fight scene.
Like, who can punch harder? Who can punch longer? And
well, not only that, what's the bad guy's name?
Ambrose.
Ambrose grabs a rock.
Yes, he
hits him in the head, hits him in the stomach.
Yes.
The only blood you see is from the knife wound to the face.
So Ambrose pulls that knife, and you get this is a great shot where he's on top of him, and that knife is just centimeters away from his eyeball. Like, that shot is fantastic. Behind the scenes of this, did you read about this? Tom Cruise wanted to use a real knife. They rigged a knife with a cable so that Dougray Scott could actually put all his force, and they had a cable that was just long enough that it would just clear the top right above his eye. If that cable had snapped or anything moved, that would have been it for his fucking eye. They could have used a fake knife. And this crazy motherfucker's like, no, I want to use a real knife. Just tie it to a cable. But the result is it's a fucking cool ass scene. The close up of the knife.
Yeah, it's a great
at
shot.
The eye is crazy. And then you see Ethan Hunt just favor these crazy spinning kicks in this fight. And again, it's
like Jean-Claude Van Damme light.
And it just made me realize he never fights like this ever again in any other movie after this. What happened?
Because John Woo's not there.
Is this? Let's get away from the end here. Do you think this was like, where do you rank this with John Woo's American movies? And I'm talking, the four I'm talking about are Broken Arrow, Face Off, Hard Target, and this. I almost feel like this is like probably third or last, but it's still a damn good time.
You know what? I'm with you. I would definitely put Hard Target right on top, and then I'd follow that with Face.
Oh no, Face Off.
You think Face Off?
Face Off. Like Ruggs said this one time, and I agree. Face Off is opera.
Okay, yeah. He does have the gold guns.
It's an opera.
Yeah. I mean, you got Nick Cage grabbing choir girls' asses. And singing.
That's true. And screaming.
I also think this is an opera too, but I also think that Hard Target is also an opera.
I don't know. So Face Off, Hard Target, and then this one. That Broken Arrow is definitely
Broken Arrow is like the weakest, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I would rather watch this than Broken Arrow.
Yes.
The action's more satisfying. I feel like it just has more. It has more oomph to it. It's slicker. It's bigger. It's more bombastic. But Hard Target and Face Off. I mean, Face Off was my favorite movie for a long time because it was just so ridiculous. I was like, I just couldn't get over that movie. Like that they fucking had the balls to do that movie. It was like, it's like so much hubris. They're like, we're going to make a movie where we're going to have two guys switch faces and you're going to fucking love it. And I did. And it was fucking crazy. And then, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme in Hard Target it felt like something in his wheelhouse, at least. It was just to the max. It was just exaggerated. But, like, what John Woo did for Nick Cage.
I think he sold me. I think Face Off is probably the best one. Yes. No.
Yeah. I think what John Woo did for Nick Cage and made him an action star, and even John Travolta, he put him in 2 action movies.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Tarantino effect, right?
And then like he did like Swordfish and all those other movies, like all that, the Paris with Love or whatever, all those other fucking.
I mean, if you watch Face Off, we've talked about it before, but the depth of both of their acting, where they have to act like each other, acting like each other.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's just there's so many layers to that.
It's
movie.
fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's very complicated.
I just found a John Woo AMA Reddit on Reddit, and one of the first questions, I'm just going to read this because I think it's something we're all curious about. Was someone asked, "What's the significance of the repeated use of white doves in your work?"
Okay.
And he responded, John Woo, "I think the white doves represent purity and spirit. White doves are a messenger from God. They are noble creatures with many symbolic meanings. When I was in middle school, every Sunday, there was a service at my church. I was tasked with drawing a poster, and I used white doves for it all the time. When I was making The Killer, the story is about a cop and an assassin. Each of them has their own ideas about justice. I was trying to come up with an idea of a montage to show their righteousness. When I was shooting the final sequence, I had this idea to have white doves flying past the candles to represent the precious spirits within them. I've been using them ever since, and sometimes when I don't use them, my crew will tell me, John, we have to use the white doves.
Where are the
Sometimes
doves?
I use them because the crew said so."
Oh my God. So I decided to just do it in every movie I ever make for the rest of time.
Because that's got to be confusing if you don't follow John Woo. I was thinking about this, and you saw this movie.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck is with the pigeons and doves?
But I get it. Like his explanation makes sense, and it's a thematic thing he's carried through, but it's just a signature. You sign a painting. This is a signature John Woo thing.
Oh yeah, it's like a John Woo thing. There's just gonna be doves everywhere.
Doves.
Yeah.
Crazy hard cuts to zoom in on things.
Yeah. Reflections.
Reflections.
Lots of reflections.
Back to back sometimes where the characters are talking to each other, and then double guns, right?
Guns,
those are a lot of John Wooisms, slow motion.
And the melodrama. You can't forget about the melodrama. The over dramatic thing. I got a couple of fun behind the scenes things, but I do think it's funny. It ends kind of on a happy ending. He's with the girl and they make out in a park and they walk away. And what's funny is we never see her again.
Yeah, she just disappeared. I never mentioned her.
Yes,
and then in the next movie, he's married to a completely different
person. In fact, nobody in this movie returns in any of the other movies except for Ethan Hunt and Luther.
Right.
That tells me that everyone at the time was like, "This movie sucks."
Yes, it doesn't
we
count.
gotta get away from it as far as possible.
Absolutely correct. They were distancing themselves,
even though it made money.
It was a huge hit for the year and made money. So yeah, they cure her. Blah blah blah. Ambrose isn't dead. He tries to shoot him, and then Hunt does the cool kick the gun straight up in the air from the sand, turn around and shoot. Whatever. The soundtrack here. I
love that, by the way.
Whoa, that final gun kick.
Yeah, because he can't just shoot him. He's got to kick a gun up in the air. You see, the dust come up.
He's got to grab
and
it.
He spins and he's grabbing it, and then he fires.
He's got to spin and fall down and shoot.
Yeah.
So there's a weird.
He was probably going. Cruz probably watched Hard Target and go, well, I can't light someone up and then spin kick them in the face.
Yeah.
So what can I do? And he came up with that. Not nearly as cool as spin kicking someone with 7 bullets in their chest, but still not bad.
But still, he didn't let him just go out with just a one shot.
Right.
So there's this one windmill kick he does at the end in this fight scene. He actually clipped Dougray Scott on the chin for real, and they left it in. They used that take. You kind of
you see him his head go back.
Yeah, you see his head go back. You see Tom Cruise react.
I think Godzilla would have been proud of the drop kick that he did.
Oh, he's a lot of flying kicks, a lot of drop kicks.
Well, he'd be especially proud because he'd go, you didn't even use your tail.
Yeah, you didn't need a tail.
Yeah.
Tail slide.
Here's how you know it's the 2000s. On the soundtrack featured Limp Bizkit, Metallica, Rob Zombie, Kid Rock, Foo Fighters, Buck Cherry, Tori Amos. But they play that Limp Bizkit song. Okay, and then all the guitar music is just so...
I love it.
I do like it. I like when they do the theme in the guitar music.
Dun, 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 dun,
You know what? You know what movie this kind of bookends well with? Desperado. They're both ridiculous, louder than just crazy.
That's was that Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah,
similar. All these guys were inspired by John Woo's Hong Kong movies in the 90s.
Yeah, they're all inspired by Woo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, what's cool about this movie too is you watch it, and the issue with a lot of action movies, if you were look at the ones now, is they're all paint by numbers, right? There's not really a ton of personality. That's not this movie. This movie has a ton of personality, and when you watch this movie, you go, I know exactly what era that was.
Yes.
This movie screams late 90s, early 2000s John Woo.
Yeah.
Like right away. Like it's unmistakable what time of what era this came from.
Absolutely, and it makes you nostalgic for that era a little bit. So here's some fun notes behind the scenes. If you are fans of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, well, you have Tom Cruise to thank.
Oh, shit.
Dougray Scott originally cast as Logan for 2000's X-Men. This movie went over budget, started shooting long, and Tom Cruise convinced him to stay and finish. And he gets out of X-Men, and the role goes to Hugh Jackman. And the rest is history. And I don't know if he would be kicking himself in the butt now, because look at Hugh Jackman's career. And I don't know what the fuck Dougray Scott's been doing. I know you just watched a movie with him in it, Rugg, so we'll talk about that later. But aside from that, his career doesn't. What do we think of him? I didn't think he was the greatest bad guy, and I can see why he would have been cast as Wolverine.
He would be terrible,
but he would have been horrible. I'm so glad that Tom Cruise fucked that up.
No,
I think that he's just like he's a fine character. He's a fine actor. He was fine,
serviceable. Is what
yeah. It wasn't the best bad guy for this, and like he's.
I think that's another thing. If we're gonna like be critical of the movie, it doesn't have a bad guy like that you can really sink your teeth into and be like, oh, he's horrible, right? Like
he killed a whole plane full of people.
He did,
but he's just not. I wouldn't look at that guy and be like, man, I don't want to see that guy. Like he doesn't seem. He seems like the type of guy that like uses a bidet or something like that. He's not like.
No, I mean, but he is a pretty big piece of shit. Like he knows that this girl's there under false pretenses.
But they use her like
completely use her,
and he uses her.
But that's I think that he knows she's there, but he finds that out when he like hangs or when he puts on the Tom Cruise mask, and then he takes it off and he starts weeping like a little baby.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh,
come on.
Like this guy
doesn't love you. You don't think she don't love you.
You know when he's like try the dress on and she took off her pants and he just like makes that face like he just jizzed in his pants.
It's negative.
I think he says like we'll try it on later.
He's like, no, what's the rush?
Yeah,
and then whatever they don't show us what happened.
You know what happened.
So yeah, I think we dodged the bullet. Thandie Newton was supposed to be in Charlie's Angels. And her role ends up going to Lucy Liu, also because this thing went over budget and you can't walk away from a Tom Cruise production or he'll just have you killed or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very powerful. Ian McKellen turned down the role that eventually went to Anthony Hopkins. So, and he was in X-Men too, so that would have fucked up an Ian McKellen Magneto. So I'm glad he did turn that down. This is the only Mission Impossible movie to actually say the words Mission Impossible in the movie, which is also kind of funny. Anthony Hopkins says it. And it's the only Mission Impossible movie where he's still working with the IMF and not actually on the run. It could have used more running. He runs a little bit. But he's still on good terms with them in this movie.
The original cut was 3.5 hours.
The original cut was 3.5 hours long. Yes.
Wow.
And this movie's already too long, even once he trimmed it down.
What did they cut out?
Remember when Metallica sued Napster? It all came out of the sound, the track from this movie that got leaked to the radio. They tracked it back to Napster and then filed a lawsuit. So this movie you can thank for Metallica suing Napster. Apparently, Alfred Hitchcock has a movie called Notorious that's very similar. In fact, some people said whole scenes lifted out of that movie are in this movie.
Not surprising.
I already said Oliver Stone was attached to direct. And yes, nobody else turns up in any of the movies after this except for Luther and Hunt. And yeah, he paid for a lot of this himself. All right. Anyways, final thoughts, Anthony. Give me a number. Where would you put this amongst the ones you've seen?
Amongst the ones I've seen, well. This movie, like I said to start, is very dumb. It's very stupid. I get why people didn't like it at the time. I get why people might not even like it now. I liked it. I think it's a good time. I do think that this is clearly the end of like the John Woo era.
Yeah, it's a good call.
And it was a great era, but I do think, there's only so much runway you can have with making these types of movies, especially for an American audience. So this was it. This was the end. As far as a rating, this movie, I know that this is, I don't like when people do this, but I'm going to do it. It's a 7 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
That is
Oh,
not
shit.
objective, by the way. That is very subjective, and
Yeah.
that is very much just me the entire time. Even though it took me a while to watch the movie,
Yeah.
laughing the entire time and being entertained because I was like, even if though this plot isn't the most riveting thing, what thing am I going to see John Woo and Tom Cruise do next in this movie?
Yeah.
As far as where it ranks, I have the first one ranked last.
Yeah.
And I would say this one is right above that.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say I like this one a little bit better maybe than Rogue Nation. That might be kind of
Oh my God, really?
Too.
Oh.
I don't know. I like John Woo. I like John Woo.
Yeah.
But it's not at the top for sure. So I would say like second or third to last. It's not a bad movie. Oh, it is a bad movie, but it's not a bad watch.
Okay. Yeah. Rugs. Where are you gonna put it?
In what? In the
Give
stacking
me a
order?
number and then a stacking order. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's probably like somewhere around the 7 too for me.
Yeah.
You could even make a case for a 6.5.
Yeah.
But I like this movie. It's a fun watch. I've watched it like at least 7 or 8 times, and it always works its magic on me at certain points. There's things that I think are a waste of time and not done well, but it is a John Woo movie through and through. In the scheme of Mission Impossible movies, I think this is the worst one. But I mean, the De Palma one's a very boring film, or like not an action film.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But it's a very good film, good acting, and it's a good spy film.
Yeah.
This is an action movie that wants to be a spy movie.
Yeah.
So it's not the best. A lot of the other ones are great, but I'll probably watch this over Ghost Protocol or some of the other ones, or even the third one.
Yeah.
I think this one's more fun to watch. Has better, more memorable action, has doves and operatic music and flamenco dancing.
Oh yeah, this flamenco dancing.
Slow-mo. I don't know. It just got something. It got something that evokes like a certain time. Like you can watch a J.J. Abrams one,
right,
and it could have come out today. Like it's just very bland in how it's made. So this is a very 2000s movie, and I like that.
I think it's probably like the sexiest movie out of all of them.
Absolutely.
Right? I will agree with you guys. I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and just for the action scenes alone, I would watch this over the first one. I will put it. It is at the bottom, but I will put this above the first one. The first one, like you said, Ruggs, is a good movie, but like there is in defense of this movie, there's a way to enjoy this movie, and if you had taken the John Woo training course, you can enjoy the fun and the crazy action. Absolutely. So it was surprisingly, watching it a second time, I really enjoyed the whole end sequence of all the action. I was like, so this shit is fucking dope. I don't care. The story is inconsequential.
Were you stoned when you watched it the first time?
Possibly.
Oh.
I'm always stoned. So the answer to that question is always, were you stoned? Just stop. And it's yes.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. I just wanted to know if like maybe you liked it because you were stoned this time.
Yeah, I mean,
or more stoned.
I can do without the whole middle of the movie, right? Just show me like the beginning action and then the whole back half. It's a fun time, but it is, out of all of them, clearly it's the weaker ones, as I do enjoy Rogue Nation and Fallout and all the more recent ones. But they just became different things.
Yeah, I think that after Fallout, it started to pick up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all great.
They're all really good. I mean, I might even go back and watch 3 and 4.
I think like Rogue Ghost Protocol kind of revived things, but then like once they got to the McQuarrie, I think they figured the McQuarrie Cruise combination.
It's fantastic.
Elevated Cruise to like it elevated the franchise. It elevated Cruise to like this daredevil, and it elevated like McQuarrie as one of the modern great action directors.
But even before then, he's doing these. You start to see these stunts, I think, right? In Ghost Protocol, he's on the Burj Khalifa,
right,
and hanging outside of the plane, and then McQuarrie and him just fucking. They're like, let's just blow it out of the park here. So I'm excited for possibly the final one in 2 weeks, but it was a good looking back at this weird.
Listen, it's not a bad movie. All of them are good, are fun movies to watch. Like this one is not the best movie, but it's actually a fun watch. But all the Mission Impossible movies are worth watching.
Fucking
Probably,
yeah.
I mean, when you're thinking about longest running action franchises, what franchise is more consistent than Mission Impossible?
Yeah. And it's crazy that it's based off like a 60s, 70s TV show that nobody even knows anymore.
Well, you could say James Bond has been pretty consistent for the past few years, but yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, what's crazy too about Mission Impossible is like this has been, 8, 9 movies. What are we at now?
Well, it'll be 8. Yeah.
8. And they're saying this is the final reckoning, and they're like trying to play up of like all the missions he's had leading up to this.
Yeah.
But like each of these movies, I'm almost positive there was no long-term plan. Like they were just making a movie and being like, "Oh, this is good.
Yep.
Let's make another one."
Yeah.
Like they didn't have this like thought out to be this far.
No, I feel like when McQuarrie started, he does these kind of pair movies, right? Like Rogue Nation and Fallout kind of go together, and now Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning are kind of going to go together. But for Tom Cruise to be in this consistently the whole 29 years. It's wild. So it's going to be fun. 2 weeks watching the last one. Okay. Speaking of the last one, let's finish what are we watching. Let's start with The Last of Us, episode 5. Here's your spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Anthony, you catch up on this one?
I did.
What'd you think of this affair in Seattle as she gets closer to?
Did you call it an affair in Seattle?
It's an affair in Seattle. They're kind of having an affair. We didn't even talk about last week how, what's her name, says she's pregnant, and Ellie's like, I'm going to be a dad. It's great. And now she's hunting down the people that killed Joel and finds one of them. Nora, but there's a lot of other fun stuff overall. What'd you think?
Yeah, I had a good time with it. I think it's there's a plot contrivance, right? Like their backs are against the wall, and then the dude, Jesse finds them. Like I don't really know how he finds them.
He showed up at the right time.
But I guess that's action.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain that. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was an entertaining episode. You get to see what the scars and what kind of threat they are.
Yeah.
You get to see like the enhanced cordyceps zombies people. So they're trying to play this up where they're in the middle of a war and they're trying to like do this mission. And then you have the scene where she finally gets one of them that killed Joel and gets to torture her a little bit. So
that was great.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I had fun, or not? I didn't have fun, but I enjoyed watching it. I had fun watching Mission Impossible 2. I enjoyed watching Last of Us this latest episode.
Ruggs, episode 5. They got spores in the air. I love that moment where she goes, "You've killed us both," and she goes, "Did I?" And the reveal. And you guys, we know now, confirmed, Joel did tell Ellie what happened.
Yep.
She knew. But she don't care. She still wants revenge. She makes a dumb decision going into that warehouse that they're avoiding. And yeah, Jesse just happens to show up at just the right time. But that was a good scene. What'd you think?
Well, they were going to kill her. She wants to be alive. So.
Yeah.
So that's her thing. I mean, Joel did what he did to save her, but it's just interesting. Like she's got this kind of rage. She's trying to deal with Joel's death.
Yeah.
And the only way that she can do it is to try and kill everybody, And they had that conversation with Dina about like how her family got killed.
Oh yeah, the first
and how
time
she would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole decision: like, are we going or are we not?
Whatever
and
you
she's
want.
like, no, we're going.
Yeah.
She made the call. So I don't know. It's a really good show. I do think that the guy appearing out of nowhere saving them is weird, but whatever.
They made it. It was kind of nice how they kind of made it look like Joel for a second, in her haze. But it's Jesse, and I guess next episode, then you get that weird flashback at the end with Pedro Pascal.
I think that's when he's about to tell her.
Oh, so I feel like
because she's still living in the house.
Next episode might be more flashbacks with Pedro filling in the 5 years. There's only like 2 episodes left, I think. And like we haven't seen Abby like in a while. So I don't know. They are splitting this up into 2 seasons. So it's going to end on a cliffhanger. Forgot about it.
Damn it.
She's not going to get to Abby, but
no.
But fuck, it's still
Still a good show. You should watch it if you haven't.
Still a good show. All right, let's move on to Andor, episodes 7 through 9. Spoiler alert. Anthony's officially tapped out.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But just as I anticipated, the show got pretty fucking good, Rugs.
It did.
Talk to me about these 3 episodes.
Well, what they did to us for 6 episodes is unforgivable. Like, a lot of the stuff that they were doing were just spinning wheels and like kind of retreading a lot of stuff that we already knew. And then this whole Gorman thing, this is where the show actually pops off. This is where stuff is paying off. And these 3 episodes build to like this great point in the story where, okay, now you got Mon Mothma. She's now got to take a stand and get out in the open and admit and actually proclaim there's a rebellion going on.
That speech she gave, you could give in fucking Congress today, and it would be absolutely valid. It was amazing.
Right. And you had Dedra's story kind of culminate where she has to now carry forward this massacre. And she doesn't want to do it, but she needs to do it because she has no other choice. She's such a product of the Empire.
I thought
she's kind of like she's got no choice.
Yeah, she's kind of stuck in this. So she still may flip. I thought Cyril was gonna flip, but again, spoiler alert. Cyril meets his untimely end as he gets frustrated because they're keeping him in the dark. And the moment he decides Andor is about to shoot Dedra, and he decides to save her, and gets killed, and they never met, and Cassian doesn't even know who the fuck he is.
Right.
He goes, who are you? And what a tragic but kind of perfect end to Cyril. It was crazy.
Yeah, so you had some deaths. We lose some characters, and we gain the droid.
Oh, yes, and then the K2 droids. So, Anthony, basically what happened was episode 7 was a build-up to this Gorman massacre. It's very tense. You feel like shit's about to hit the fan. Episode 8 is this genocide. It's the Gorman massacre where the Empire traps the protesters, and then one of the Empire people fires a stray shot on his own people to start a riot. And what it is they use a genocide and spin it as an insurrection, and that they need to lock these people down. And it's crazy. It's shocking. A lot of people die. And then episode 9 is the aftermath.
I mean, they lay out this plan when they have that meeting. They're like, we're going to take over Gorman, and we're going to get some bad actors or to kind of start doing some terrorism.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use that as an excuse to take over their planet. And this is exactly what happens. So we know that going in, we know that the Gormans are going to get taken advantage of by the Empire. We know the Empire is coming. But how this kind of peaceful protest kind of unravels, and how this peaceful protest of them singing and whatever gets turned into a massacre.
We are Gore.
And it's just very much like they're indifferent. They don't care. They're just going to do this. They're going to take these people out. They're going to use them, and they're going to spin the story however they want. Even before the thing happens, they have reporters there, like kind of like getting the flavor of everything out there. So it was geniusly done.
We never saw there's Star Wars TV shows and talk shows that they were showing and news. I've never seen that. I don't think in a Star Wars thing,
but I do think that it's almost too this should have been in the middle. It shouldn't be at the tail end.
In your Patreon thing, you thought this was the end of the show, didn't you?
Yeah.
It felt like the end.
I thought that this was after I watched it. I'm like, okay, show's over. I guess that's how it ends. And then I'm like, oh, there's 3 more episodes.
There's one more chapter. It's going to lead right up to Rogue One. So I'm excited for this last 3. And then I'm going to watch Rogue One right after.
I have a question. Yeah. Is this it? Or are they going to, and this goes into Rogue One, or are they doing another season?
No, this is it.
There's no more room left.
Yeah, the story, they're getting up to the story, and it was always just going to be 2 seasons.
Got it.
But there's also an episode of Rebels, Rugs, you can watch where after she says the speech and Cassian kind of grabs her
What's that snapping sound?
It's Anthony.
Me.
Oh,
I'll
no.
pause.
There's that episode of Rebels where she's on the Ghost. So at some point they take her back to the Yavin base, which is kind of cool because Rebels is happening the same time.
Right.
This is happening. Bro, when those droids showed up and they just started throwing people around, I was like, holy
He just tossed people.
shit, I ain't gonna stop this. But I love that he got one and reprogrammed it. And so we get to see little Alan Tudyk as K2SO is great. Yeah, the first 5 episodes were spinning the wheels. 6 it started a little bit, and then that was really good. That's probably some of the best Star Wars shit I've seen in a long time.
I just can't believe that they wasted all of our time for so long and just should have gotten to this.
And then Bix is just like, I'm leaving. And she just leaves. She's like, you can't focus if I'm around. I don't want you. I don't want to be the reason that you abandoned this. The Force healer said you were a messenger. You're special. So it's kind of sad when she's like, after this is done, come find me. And there's going to be there's going to be no finding her.
Yeah, we know he's going to die.
Yeah. So,
that's okay.
Yeah, it was very good. And now I'm excited to see the end. And I can't wait to watch Rogue One with all this happening, watching it again to see how it hits.
I just want to know what happens to Luthen because he's the X Factor. We know what happens.
Yeah.
We know what happens to the 2 people that we know what happens to Mon Mothma.
Right. And Cassie.
We know what happens to Cassie and Andor. We don't know what happens to Dedra or Luthen.
So, yes, that could be some crazy shit. You think Dedra will flip ultimately still? Once she finds out Cyril's dead and shit? I don't know.
There's a lot of different ways she can go.
Yeah.
She could die. She could flip and then die.
Yeah.
She could become more evil than ever.
She could sacrifice herself or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Luthen, I don't know. Yeah. What happens to him? Does he disappear? Does he get killed? We know Saw Gerrera also survives. So, because he's a murderer. So.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you recommend Anthony get back on the train after these?
No.
Okay.
I would never make Anthony watch the show.
Anthony.
Thank you.
So next week, Ruggs and I will discuss the finale and give you a review, and Anthony can sit there with his thumb up his ass.
I stick it up my asshole.
I'll sit there in quotes for sure.
Do something. What else, Ruggs? You sent in a Patreon review.
Right. I was flipping through Netflix looking for something to watch, and then this, you have like the automatic, it just starts playing, autoplay.
Yes.
And it started auto-playing this scene where this girl was running through a hallway beating up guys. And I'm like, I guess I'm watching this.
Okay.
It's a German movie called Exterritorial.
Yeah.
It's about a woman who is an ex-special forces. She's a patsy. They kind of use her. They offer her a job in America to get her into the embassy, to use her as a patsy for a crime that they're trying to kill a witness. And they basically were like, "Oh, we're going to frame her for doing it." And in the process, they kind of use her as a patsy by kidnapping her son and making her go crazy. She's prone to like post-traumatic stress disorder, and flipping out. So they're going to use that. This erratic woman's in here, and then all of a sudden somebody gets killed. It's her fault. So, but she's like looking for her son. So she starts kind of going through the consulate, sneaking around, beating the shit out of people, and plotting a way to fucking get her kid back.
Okay.
It's it's like if I'm going to give it a score, it's probably like a 5.5 or a 6.
Is it action? It's kind of like what we were talking. Anthony was talking about earlier. The mid-tier Netflix action movie.
It's a low budget German action movie. Doug Ray Scott is the American bad guy.
Scott's in this too. There you go, full circle.
Yeah, he's in it. He's got a mustache, and he looks terrible. He doesn't look like Hugh Jackman. I'll tell you that. Yeah, and he's like the American guy who's behind the whole thing. I just gave away the whole story. Right. So he comes off as a sympathetic character, but like he's really the bad guy.
It's in German or is it dubbed? I guess you can watch it.
It's in German. I watched it dubbed.
Okay.
I watched it a little bit subtitled just to get the feel for everybody's acting, and then I was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then I was like, okay, I don't got time to read subtitles. I'm gonna fall asleep if I do that. So I put it on.
Exterritorial.
I don't recommend it highly, but it's a movie you can watch.
It's there to kill time. So there's there. Right, you guys watch? I've watched the show Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne on Peacock.
I heard it's good.
It's fantastic. Season 2 is out. The first 3 episodes are out. It's got some fun guest stars this season, like Cynthia Erivo, Giancarlo Esposito, another guy who's in every fucking thing easily. And one has John Mulaney. But this is a modern day Columbo show, and it's fantastic. And every episode has the formula. It's directed by Ryan Johnson, created by Ryan Johnson, where they show you this murder, so you know what happens, and then we follow Natasha Lyonne's character as she has to figure out what exactly happened. And she has one skill, one kind of superpower, that is to detect bullshit. So she just knows if you tell her something and you're lying, she'll know. She knows we're telling the truth. That's all she could do. And somehow every week, while she's being chased by gangsters, she finds herself involved in a murder mystery. It's very convenient. But it's really well done. It's a really fun show. She is great. And it just reminds me of Columbo, which is fun. So first season was great. Second season's good so far.
Columbo.
It's Columbo, female Columbo, red hair. And that'll do it for this week, fellas. Next week, Andor, season 2, other things. Ruggs, where can the people find you online?
Rug Boy Show on X. Come follow me.
Anthony will be living at the Alamo Draft House in Wrigleyville. Find him there.
I'm there.
He's their new mascot. His face will be on everything.
I will be spinning a sign that says Alamo in a chicken suit on meth for sure.
He's the one they send to kick you out of your seat if you turn your phone on. You'll have to face Anthony. Boot you right the fuck out of there. In the meantime, listener, check out our website, jockandnerd.com, for links. Episode description has links to how to support, how to get in touch. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I like turtles.
Jock and Nerd.